The Amazon FBA marketplace has heated up over the last couple of years between family offices, private equity, just high net worth investors. And with this kind of demand, giving FBA entrepreneurs the chance to make a life-changing exit, also comes the opportunity for you to lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. So let's get into it, how to sell an Amazon FBA business for the maximum amount of price so you don't lose that money. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, my name is Gregory Elfring. I am the Director of Marketing at Empire Flippers, where I am slowly getting better with lights. Not really, it took me a long time to actually set this up. And I'm getting embarrassingly bad with lights. Anyhow, that's besides the point. What we do, if you are not familiar with what we are an M&A advisory firm that helps people just like you sell the business you have built. And likewise, we also help buyers all the time buy businesses that they desire that meets their acquisition goals. But today we're talking about a very special piece, a very special topic, which is selling your Amazon FBA business. And like I said at the hook of this video, it is easy to go wrong when there is so much demand. It feels like you can do no wrong, right? With all these different offers coming onto the table. But I wanted to talk about how to go about selling these FBA businesses to help you get the maximum price. Now, you might be wondering, if you've never really engaged in this kind of content before, why would anyone buy an FBA business in the first place? Like, why would someone go pay me 40 or 50x of my monthly net profit when they can just go and build one themselves, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense for them, or it doesn't make a lot of sense to you maybe. So let's talk about that real quickly. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I actually covered it in another video about buying an established business, which I'll link down below. But the basic gist of it is they want to buy what you have built because they get to skip the timeline. They don't have to do this 18 to 24 month time period to start up a business like what you had to do. They get to jump right ahead of that to a proven market fit because you already did it for them, right? That's one of the big reasons why they're buying what you have built. Another thing is data levers. There's tons of data that exists within your business that to someone who is a super ninja at, say, Amazon PPC or logistics or anything like that, can look at your data and instantly know how to improve that business, and thus making the return on their investment far, far bigger. And plus, since you have traction, any kind of tweak they're going to do should have pretty massive ramifications as they go to scale up that business. Like I said, I'm not going to get too deep into this aspect in particular, but if you want a deep dive as to why there are so many benefits of buying an established business, definitely check out that video linked down below. Now, that is one reason why people buy, and that's really like, not one, but a group of reasons why someone might buy, right? And there are a lot of other reasons why someone will buy that kind of go in sync with this, and it's important for you to know if you're going to sell your business, and that is their desire. What do they want to achieve? And I say this like a person teaching you about copywriting, right? Most of us are marketers in some capacity, whether you run your own business or you're helping an FBA brand. A lot of our job is thinking about marketing, and a lot of marketing comes down to good copywriting. What does my ideal target market really want, right? What are their desires? What are their goals? What kind of pains do they have that I can solve? And how can I position my product to be in a place where I can really help them get what they want, right? So when people go to sell their FBA business, or really any business, they will often take this copywriting hat that they have honed to a fine edge over a period of years and throw it in the trash. They don't even think about what the buyer wants at all. They're just thinking about me, 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 me. And as we know, as good marketers, that is a terrible mode of operation, right? You should be considering who this person is. Yes, they want to buy your business because you already have a proven product market fit. They want to buy your business with all that data, but there's other reasons too, more personal reasons. Maybe they're more lifestyle focused. How can you help them see by buying your business, they are going to get to achieve that goal where they can go and live on the beaches of the world? Or maybe they are more portfolio driven, or they want several different revenue streams coming in at any given time. How can you best position, again, your FBA business as a perfect complementary revenue stream for what they desire. Really get down into why are they doing this in the first place, right? And most of them will tell you, right? They'll tell you why they're interested in your business and why they're interested in buying a business anyways, right? Because they want to build a relationship with you, and you should also be building a relationship with them. So that is one of the big tips to consider, is keep that copywriting hat on, understand why people buy from the fundamental aspect, but also why someone might buy your business from the more personal desire aspect, right? You want to tailor your FBA business perfectly to the best understanding you can get of the buyer looking at your business. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the psychology of why someone will buy and why that's important to you as a seller, but let's get into some hard and fast tips that can help you maximize the sale of your FBA business. And that first tip is the Goldilocks zone of products. So what this means is buyers like to see a certain amount of products being sold. If you are a Amazon FBA business that only has one product, for instance, that can become a much more risky endeavor for a buyer to actually acquire. Well, why is that? Well, when if your product is a fad, it goes out of fashion, or another competitor comes in that builds a better and cheaper version of what you've built. These are all big problems in a one product only business. Now, before you click off this video and say, oh, I need to go launch like a bajillion products because Greg told me it'll help my valuation, that's not what I'm saying. It is a fine balance, hence the Goldilocks zone. Like the old tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where like this soup is too hot, this soup is too cold, this soup is just right. That's what we're going for here in this Goldilocks zone of Amazon FBA products. So typically what we would like to see is enough SKUs that justify the valuation, or actually vice versa, the valuation justifies the SKUs. So in a $100,000 Amazon FBA business, if you have 200 products, that's a lot for that valuation. That's a ton of products for a 100K business. And a lot of buyers are like, whoa, there's no way I want to manage this chaos storm for such a little asset, right? And vice versa, if you have, say, $1 million, $5 million Amazon FBA business, if you have like, say, 40, 50 products, that can still be pretty reasonable at that size. Now, again, more products you have, often the less attractive your business becomes because of that management aspect, but it's all a sliding scale. And there's even caveats for one product only businesses. For example, we have sold Amazon FBA businesses well into the seven figures that only have one product, and aggregators, for example, are okay with that because one business doesn't represent their entire risk portfolio because they're buying so many businesses, so they don't care if you have one product. But if you're targeting, say, a high net worth investor who maybe they can only buy one or two businesses per year, if that, then that is a concern for them, right? A one product only business does become a concern. So the Goldilocks zone here is where you have between 3 to 8 products that are all profitable, and ideally no one product is making up the lion's share of your revenue. So no one product is doing, say, over 51% of your net profit. That is beautiful. Obviously, that is ideal, and we sell tons of businesses that do not meet that ideal, but this is a good thing to keep in mind. As you start growing your business, aim for that 3 to 8 products that are profitable, and that will make your business feel more stable, become more attractive, and the buyers are going to understand that your business isn't just a one product, one hit wonder. Okay, next tip. So this is a big one and a extremely boring tip. So goodbye YouTube watch time. Not that I really had any anyways. There's only like less than 1,000 of you subscribe. If you haven't yet, go subscribe. So other people, when they come to this video, they realize, oh, wait a second, there's more than 1,000 people here. What is he talking about? And then I can do a react video to the fact when I used to have less than 1,000 subscribers on here. Thank you. Anyhow, so let's get to this boring tip. This boring tip relates to your profit and loss statement. So your profit and loss statement is the most important document in your entire business. Without this, it literally tells the narrative of your business. And if there's something wrong with this document, well, buyer's going to wonder, well, what else is wrong, right? What else is a problem in this business if this seller did not care enough about their P&L to make it right? So this is why I mean, this is very boring. Most of us as entrepreneurs, we're very creative people. We enjoy the marketing aspect and the growth aspect, not so much the bean counting aspect. So this is why I strongly advise you, if you decide to sell your FBA business, get a professional to look at your P&L, an actual bookkeeper, not like your friend who knows Excel or whatever. Get an actual e-commerce focused bookkeeper. And there's plenty of firms out there. One that we have a good relationship with is Bean Ninjas. Bean Ninjas can be a godsend for you. But if you choose to sell your business with us, we do it for free. So we build your P&L, no problems, no questions asked, and we do it from the ground up. So you don't have to worry about that if you use a broker like us. But if you go private, make sure you get a professional bookkeeper. Trust me, it will be worth it in the end for you when you do go and sell that business. So another thing to mention on P&L is the format. So a lot of business owners, they'll do a cash basis form of accounting, and that's fine. Like that's probably a decent way to run the business, is a cash basis accounting. But when you go to sell your business, you want to transfer everything to an accrual basis of accounting. Just this simple act alone is really, really powerful for your valuation, and it's easy to do. Now, if you're scratching your head, like, how do I do that? That sounds complicated. Well, listen to the first part of this tip where I told you to hire a professional. Trust me, I don't know how to do it either, but they do. They'll help you out, okay? All right, next tip is a cohesive brand. So this is less important for an FBA business that's on the lower end. So say, a minus 200, a sub $200,000 FBA business, this probably won't be as important. But as you get into higher valuations, especially in the 7-figure and definitely in the 8-figure range, you want to have a cohesive brand. And what I mean by that is, like, there used to be a trend. It doesn't exist as much as it used to, but we still see them now and again. And that is where someone will have a bunch of different products for their FBA business that are completely unrelated. So they might have a jump rope, a dog bowl, and a sleeping bag. It's just like, there's no brand here. These are just random items, and you don't want that, because this random item thing makes it very hard for a buyer to easily understand where you're going. Now, if you had a business that is a dog bowl, dog leash, and maybe some like kind of dog grooming product, and maybe you still don't have a very good brand necessarily, but a buyer can cobble together pretty easily how all these products are related and how they would function in an overall brand. Now, I'm not saying shotgun products, like I mentioned earlier, don't work. You can definitely make money and sell those businesses. It's just you're going to get less of a valuation because there's less of a vision behind the brand, and it's much harder to get these divergent demographics, the person buying the dog bowl versus the person buying the jump rope, to relate to the brand, because the brand's all over the place, right? Pretty much the only companies that can really get away with that is companies like Procter & Gamble. But notice how Procter & Gamble does it. Very few people know what is a Procter & Gamble product, because they don't market any of their products really as Procter & Gamble. They have subsets of their products that are a full-on brand in of itself, a suite, a family of products, all within this one brand. So when you actually hear this brand, you think that product, right? You want to have something similar. And this can, like I said, doesn't matter too much on the lower end, but as you get bigger, this becomes very, very important, especially as buyers are starting to take the Amazon FBA asset and actually expand off of Amazon. You want the ability to create a cohesive brand, and that cohesive brand is just going to make you have a deeper moat. Speaking of deeper moat, let's get into the next tip, and that is Trademarks and Amazon Brand Registry 2.0. Now, I'm not going to go super deep into what these are. If you are an FBA entrepreneur, you're probably pretty familiar with what I'm talking about, but this is great stuff for you, because if you have both of these, it makes your business harder to copy. And in a harder to copy business means you have a deeper moat, and a deeper moat, of course, means you have a more valuable business. So if you haven't gotten any kind of trademarks on your products or the Amazon Brand Registry 2.0, it is pretty simple to do, to be honest. It's not difficult. So you should go ahead and get those in your business. It's an easy thing to set up, and it'll help your valuation. But let's talk about valuations. Just how much money can you actually get selling an Amazon FBA business? Well, I mentioned at the top of this video that there is a huge market growing for FBA businesses. There are so many players getting into the space. It's crazy. There are literally billions of dollars raised at this point just to go out and acquire FBA businesses. So it's a very exciting time. But that brings me back, well, how much can you get? So the basic formula of an Amazon FBA valuation is just looking at your 12 months average net profit times a multiple. Now that multiple can be all over the place. Usually it can range as wide as 20x all the way up to 60x. We've seen FBA businesses that have sold at that top end of 60x of their 12-month average net profit. Keep in mind that's monthly, not yearly EBITDA when I'm saying these kind of numbers. So keeping that in mind. But let's translate some of these numbers into some valuations for fun. And as your net profit goes up, obviously your multiple will most likely go up too, just as the nature, the more money you make, the more valuable the business is, right? So let's look at a few here. If you had an Amazon FBA business making $5,000 net profit per month on average, you're looking at a valuation around $210,000. Likewise, a valuation, if you're making $15,000, you can be looking at a $630,000 valuation. Right around when you start making like $30,000 net profit per month, or in this example, $40,000 net profit per month, will you really break over that 7-figure range. So $40,000 average net profit per month can get you $1.6 million in your pocket. But let's go bigger here. Let's have some fun with this valuation and really aspire to be a bigger brand here. Let's say your Amazon FBA business on average made $285,000 net profit per a month. What kind of valuation could you get from that? Well, based off this fairly conservative multiple I'm using that's been quite common on our marketplace over the last few months, or really over the last year, you're looking at a valuation of right underneath $12 million. It'd be like around $11.9 million that you could get with that kind of profit. Now I use all of these ranges, these numbers, if you're wondering why I chose these numbers, because these are actual price ranges we've sold on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So these are price ranges we are very familiar with, including lower ones. We sell more Amazon FBA businesses than literally anyone else on the planet when it comes to this stuff. So we've seen everything between little $20,000 FBA business all the way up to that $12 million and 8-figure bracket. So we've seen all this stuff. So that's why I used it. If you're wondering, we've sold valuations literally in this entire range and more. So let's bring this all together. Understand who the buyer is, tailor your business to that, to their desires. You want to implement all those quick tips I just gave you, which most of them are not that difficult to do, to be honest. They're maybe annoying, but that doesn't mean that they're hard to do. It won't take you too long to do a lot of those tips to get a good valuation bump. And right now is literally the best time I've ever seen it, hands down, to sell an FBA business. The market has heated up dramatically. So if it makes sense, and I always want to put this caveat, you should never try to time the market when it comes to buying or selling a business, or really any kind of investing. So you should only really be thinking about selling your FBA business, like put away all these like crazy multiples of valuations I just talked about, and let's do some real talk, right? You should only be looking at selling your business if it makes sense for your personal or business goals. If you have a personal goal or a business goal where you can get closer and achieve that faster by selling your business, then I think it's really worth having that kind of conversation with yourself to go and do it. Now, if you want to figure out, just play around to see what your valuation might be, but you don't really want to commit or, talk to anyone, I get it. If you're interested to see what your business is worth, like a ballpark estimation, you can click the link down below and you'll be taken to our valuation tool. It uses real sales data of actual FBA businesses we've sold, and you can get a ballpark estimate of what your business is going to be worth from there. And like I said, you don't have to talk to anyone. It'll take you like all of 5 minutes to do it. And our customers are constantly shocked at how accurate it is. Obviously, it's not going to be as accurate as if you actually submitted your business for vetting with us, but they are shocked at how close that ballpark range is. And it's close because, like I said, it's based off actual sales data that we have done on the marketplace. So the other thing I will leave you with here is, if you decide to go sell your FBA business, you're like, there's absolutely no way I'm going to use a broker because I don't want to pay a commission. This is a very common myth. It's what I like to call the off-market fallacy. And I'm not saying that it's completely wrong not to use a broker. Obviously, there are reasons to not use a broker. And there's pros and cons. But before you make that decision, if that's in your camp, if you think that you will make more money by not using a broker, I highly recommend you to watch the video I'm going to recommend to you at the end of this video, because we actually sold a business that had a similar mentality, or had an offer, rather, an off-market offer. And let's just say we got them a really good deal where he was able to not lose $700,000 because he used a broker. All right, well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it out there. I think my lights are okay, but I'm pretty sure I probably messed up in some way that I'll discover as soon as I open up my editing software. So if you want to help me get better at lights and YouTube in general to keep providing education, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment with your best lighting tip. Talk to you later. Bye.